Good morning, everyone. Scott Earhart here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Do want to thank you all very, very much for taking time out of your busy day to join us today. Very excited about what we've got in store for you today. We are going to look at a proprietary product line that we're part of the group that it is proprietary to with AIG American General, the Power Select series. In order to go through that, we do have Jared Anderson from Market Synergy Group on the line with us. Jared, can you hear us?
I can hear you, buddy.
Fantastic. Jared, thank you very much for your time. Before we do hand it over to Jared to have him go through this unique product line, a couple of housekeeping items that I want to make sure everyone is aware of. Our phone number is on your screen there. That number is 800-255-5055. If there is anything that I can be doing to help you, or anyone in our office can be doing to help you grow your business in the life or fixed annuity markets, please do not hesitate to give the call. We absolutely want to earn your business. Throughout the presentation today, I will launch a polling question or two. If you would please take the time to respond to those polling questions. We do certainly appreciate everyone's participation. The polling questions today will simply be yes or no questions, so feel free to just click yes or no on those as we launch them throughout the presentation. And then final housekeeping item before some promotional slides is there's a question section on your screen. If you have any questions about the presentation, do feel free to type those in. We will do the best we can to answer those throughout the presentation today. And if I don't, or Jared doesn't get them answered in a detailed enough fashion for you, certainly I will be calling to follow up with each of you, more than likely late today and tomorrow, to answer any questions that you may have. I'd love to answer them at that time. That being said, let's get into a couple of promotional slides before we hand it over to Jared. First slide is our Life and Annuity Academy. We do have our Life and Annuity Academy set for July, late July of 2016 here. It is all expenses paid. And I am going to launch our first poll of the day as we talk about this. And all I'm going to ask you in this polling is if you'd like more information about it. It's not a commitment from your end to join us. If you'd like more information, we'd certainly like to get it out to you. We will fly all attendees in on a Wednesday midday, have a evening session at the hotel. On Wednesday, we will transport over to a carrier Thursday and Friday for the Academy. Hopefully, we'll fly you out Friday early afternoon and have you home in time for dinner. What we do in the Life and Annuity Academy is we will bring in internal employees from Insurance Agency Marketing Services, myself, Mark Raymakers, our Life Director, Matt Neal, our Creative Director, will all be there. Of course, Steve Murray and Charles Hiring, our ownership and executive team, will be there. That's one of the real unique things you'll find with Insurance Agency Marketing Services is you do absolutely have access to the decision makers at IAMS. Steve and Charles definitely want to get to know you, want to know your business, want to know what we can be doing to help you grow your business. So very, very unique thing there that you won't see from many of our competitors, but we're really excited to be able to offer you that type of access. What I will do at the Academy is I will look at different trends in the annuity markets, go through an in-depth training on income riders and placement of those riders. We will also take a look at accumulation vehicles and different strategies, including uncapped strategies and the volatility control indices that are out there. Really give you an understanding of how they work and how they can work for your clients. Also, we will take a look at placement of those products and some ideas on where they may best fit. Mark Raymakers, our Life Director, will be there for a lot of great training on life insurance, single premium life, wealth transfer, multi-generational gifting, overfunding of IULs, all topics that he will take a look at. Matt Neal, our creative director, will be there to go through some great things that we can offer here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services to our licensed producers on how we can help you with your branding, with your marketing, and definitely help you keep your overhead down on those things. Now, what I think is the best part of our academy is we will bring in at least 4 of our sales coaches from throughout the country. And in order to be a sales coach at Insurance Agency Marketing Services, you have to be able to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Sales coach here at IAMS is a multiple top producer escape qualifier. So these are individuals that not only can talk to you about how to write more business, but they're out there writing more business themselves. You will see what these gentlemen do in their practices every day that make them top producers, and you will have the opportunity to take their sales ideas home and implement them in your own business. That being said, we will also carve out some time for networking so you can meet other producers from throughout the country, learn what they're doing in their daily practice that helps them possibly bounce some ideas back and forth, create some relationships. Really, really good opportunity there. That being said, if the Academy is of interest to you, please click yes. We certainly would like to get you out some more information. I will be closing the poll down here in just a second. So if you haven't taken the time to click yes or no, please do so. Please do so now. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your participation there. Do want to point out our website. We've recently made some enhancements to our website at IAMSinc.com. If you haven't taken the time to register there, all we need is name, email, very, very basic information. Please do take the time to register as soon as we're done with this presentation. This is my favorite slide in any of our intro slides because all I'm going to talk about is putting money back in your pocket. I'll start on the right-hand side with marketing reimbursement. Rough numbers on that: for every $100,000 in indexed annuity premium you place through Insurance Agency Marketing Services, we'll put $200 into your marketing reimbursement account. That is yours to use for any business marketing expense that you may have, and we certainly want you to take advantage of it. If you'd like more details on marketing reimbursement, or if you'd like to know how much you have in your marketing reimbursement account currently, please let me know. We could certainly have that conversation and get that calculated for you. Left-hand side of your screen, the Referred Producer Program. Our business here on an internal wholesaling desk is very similar to yours out there in the field, in that the best lead we're ever going to get is going to be a referral from one of our valued clients, you, our valued producer. So we want to make it worth your while to refer other producers to us. If you refer an individual to us and they choose to license, we will cut you a check for $50 just as a thank you for them licensing. Now, where the real money comes in is, as your referral writes business, we're going to give you a 20 basis point override on the business they're writing. We do cut these checks at least quarterly, and we do cut checks for thousands and thousands of dollars. I can tell you right now, there is no check that Stephen Charles would rather sign than a referred producer check, because that means you entrusted us with a referral, and we really, really do value that here. If there is anyone that you would like to refer to us, please type them into the questions box. I will do the best I can to get them recruited over to Insurance Agency Marketing Services and help you to take advantage of the Referred Producer Program. I know we're talking about annuities today, and indexed annuities specifically, and I'm very excited about that. If you know me at all, you know my world completely revolves around indexed annuities. Occasionally I'll dabble into some traditional fixed products, but the vast majority of what I'm focused on is the indexed annuity. Now, what we've seen from our indexed annuity producers is a large growth opportunity with an annuity alternative in single premium life. If you've ever had the opportunity to speak with Mark, Sandy, or Marcus on our life team, you'll know that we are absolute leaders in the single premium life market, and that they are, it's a great way to keep expanding your business. So as I talk about single premium life real quickly, I'm going to launch our second poll, just asking you if you'd have interest in learning about the annuity alternative. If you click yes, what will happen is Sandy, Marcus, or Mark will reach out to you and see what we could be doing to help you cultivate some single premium life sales. Where we've seen the most success with single premium life is the annuity producer that has a client that has an annuity. They have no desire to take income off of the annuity. They do consider it to be what they're going to leave as a death benefit. This is a great, great way to reposition that asset, make it more beneficial to the client's heirs. It will pass tax-free. It can possibly be more beneficial to the client should they ever actually need to get some dollars out of it. And it creates a new commission for you, the producer. So a very, very nice alternative there. It can definitely help dead assets become commissionable assets again. That being said, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this poll. So if you haven't taken the time to just click yes or no, if you would do so, we certainly appreciate that. And we will be moving on here in just a second. All right, that poll is now closed. Thank you, everyone who did participate in that. My final slide before I hand it over to Jared, I just want to make sure everyone's aware we are coming dangerously close to the end of qualification for the Victoria, British Columbia trip. June 30th is when qualification ends. If you don't know where you are in the standings, or if you want to have a conversation about what we could be doing to help you get over the top of that 2 million trip credit threshold, certainly want to have that conversation. So don't hesitate to give a call for that, and we certainly do hope to see you and your guest in Victoria, British Columbia. That being said, I'm going to hand control over to Jared. Jared, you should be getting the screen now.
Scotty, give me a second. I'm getting locked. My computer just locked up, which is absolutely horrible timing. So
okay.
Give me just a second.
I'm going to
talking from, and I'll try and get locked back in here.
Nope, let me know when you're ready. I just took control back to my screen. So everyone should see my screen now. When you're ready, Jared, I'll hand it back over. As we're talking about this, before Jared gets his screen ready, I'll give a little intro on AIG American General and the Market Synergy Group. We've got two really, really great products that we're very proud to offer on a very, very limited distribution with them, the Power Select Plus Income, as well as the Power Select Builder, with some very attractive strategies from an uncapped basis for the builder. Can really, really show your clients some great wealth accumulation. And the Power Select Plus Income, as you'll see, incredibly strong income play, both on a guaranteed basis as well as a participating income. Going to be very, very competitive, especially in early income spaces, because your clients will see a true increasing income throughout their retirement years. Very, very strong.
We're back, Scotty. I apologize.
We're back. Hey, no need to apologize, buddy. Technical difficulties happen all the time. Okay. You should be getting control now. Let me know. I can see your screen.
Perfect. Well, I apologize about that short delay. So thank you for the introduction. And we'll try and get through this as quickly and as efficiently as possible. I know that all of you on the call are extremely busy, and we certainly appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule in order to listen to our offering from AIG American General. As Scott had mentioned, really two products in the Market Synergy Group product portfolio through AIG, and one of the themes and things that we've really tried to been focusing on for the last, call it 18 months, is GPA. We've built some marketing pieces around this and want to really make sure that you in the indexed annuity world are familiar with how these products are bought. I say bought because I feel as if they're truly bought and not sold. The way we look at it from a design perspective is there's guaranteed income, there's participating income, and there's accumulation. And we feel like we've got a really good design for all three of those specific scenarios, and we're going to go through those with you here today. First and foremost, as Scott had mentioned, we have two different products that will really cover all three of those specific areas. The Power Select Plus Income is our product which provides a guaranteed income rider as well as participating income rider. And then really what we've seen the majority of our sales in is the Power Select Builder due to its simplicity and its safe accumulation and safe alternative. And we'll get into details with this crediting strategies that Scott had talked about as well and tell you why we think this one is sold so well. But just to share a few statistics with you, and I'll do some more of that here in a few minutes as well. What we're trying to point out here is the market timing is perfect for the products that we provide, that you provide. 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 every single day. And then ultimately the age in which individuals are living throughout their retirement is getting longer and longer. So some sort of a guaranteed income for life is something that they're absolutely looking for. Unfortunately, in today's interest rate environment, today's market, if you will, these numbers are a little bit old, but the reality is the 10-year Treasury hasn't changed much from that 179 range. When I looked this morning, it was around 176. So it's becoming more and more difficult for insurance carriers to design a product that works for both the consumer and the company. It's no secret that insurance carriers are not non-for-profit organizations, so there has to be some sort of a mixture of how can we make this work for the client and still be a company that's going to be in business 20, 30, 40 years down the road to make sure we have the ability to pay the claims, pay the income for life for these specific individuals. In addition to that, healthcare expenses are skyrocketing, going through the roof. So there's that need for that sort of guaranteed income, if you will, and that's where we use the combination of the Power Select Builder as well as the Power Select Plus Income. So just a few more statistics specifically on the product. Both products essentially work the same. Obviously, protection of principal. There is a 5% premium enhancement on any premium received over $100,000. It's 2% for anything under 100. There are 6 or 7 non-MBA states that have 4 and 1. You can check with the individual that you work with at IAMS to try and figure out if you happen to be in one of those states. Again, what's the design of index annuities? It's really the power of zero, if you will, taking advantage of safe accumulations and not having the ability to see a loss in the contract is why they're so attractive to so many consumers and the baby boomers of today. Briefly, again, talking about the premium enhancement that we'll skip right over and talk specifically about the crediting strategies. Now, the design of the Power Select series of products is fairly simple. We've got 4 S&P strategies, which is the most common known indice in the U.S. today, that being by consumers and really anybody who is familiar with what they're looking at is very aware of what the S&P 500 is. We have our common strategies, annual point-to-point, participation strategy, as well as a monthly point-to-point and a monthly average. Now, what has happened over the past, call it, 3 to 5 years in the index annuity world is carriers have become more and more innovative in what they're trying to do for the consumer and created what we would like to refer to as volatility controlled or hybrid indices. We're no different there. However, we think we've got a pretty good story to tell in regards to our MLSB strategy that has both an annual point-to-point as well as a 2-year point-to-point available on that. We're going to talk briefly about the Merrill strategy here in just a couple slides, but the majority of the business that we see coming in is utilizing this specific strategy due to the low interest rates and the inability to get competitive, if you will, in regards to the S&P 500 caps. So just to take a look at the S&P 500 over the last 20 years, you'll see an average return of around 10% with certainly some down years to take that number down and drive it down. The MLSB strategy over that same time frame is somewhere around 8%. So again, the idea behind the design of hybrid strategies or volatility controlled strategies is to be consistent throughout the term of the contract. And as you can see here, we've done exactly that to get that 8% average annualized return over the 20-year time frame. So again, going back to the products and where they fit in, we're first going to talk about the Power Select Builder, which is for safe accumulation, and why we think this makes sense in today's interest rate environment, why we see so much going into this from a sales perspective, because this is what consumers want, and this is what seems to make sense at the time. When I say this is what consumers want, we've started to see a shift more and more towards consumers not necessarily knowing when they're ready to take income. I think there's a lot of great designs out there in the marketplace today, but if a client comes to you and says, hey, these assets that I have set aside are ultimately going to be used for income purposes, we don't necessarily think it's the right thing to do here at Market Synergy Group to lock them into some sort of an income rider if they don't know for certain that they know or when they want to take that income. So we have a different design or a different thought process, if you will, in regards to the products that we have today, and I'll tell you why. We feel like our industry is one of the more innovative in the financial services world. Okay, just to take a look at how things have changed over the last 10 years, we look at GPS being invented in 2005, Facebook with over 1 billion users, YouTube, Twitter, iPhone, iPad, all of those things are right around or less than 10 years old. So we feel as if our industry will continue to evolve like the rest of the world. And when we get out of a 170, 180 interest rate environment and carriers have the ability to get more competitive in the way that they price products, that we're going to be in an even better spot, giving us the ability to allow that client to lock themselves into some sort of an income stream when they're ready. Not when they say 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 12 years from now, I'm not exactly sure. So we've seen a lot of the agents presented as, hey, let's do some safe accumulation until we get some better interest rates, giving the insurance carriers the ability to reprice, if you will, and come out with some better products. There's no secret to what we're trying to accomplish. When we look at the history of the FIA market, going back to 1995 and its introduction 21 years ago, 4 years into it, it was a $5 billion industry. As of last year, we broke $50 billion for the first time. Throughout that process, you've seen new crediting strategies created. Back in 2006, there was the first guaranteed living withdrawal benefits introduced, with a 4% guarantee, if I remember right, and then confinement doublers and all sorts of things that continue to be innovative. As I mentioned, the volatility controlled strategies in late 2011. So we feel like in the current interest rate we're in today, if a client doesn't come to you and say, I have to have income in 4 years and this is how much I need, we have alternatives for them to get them to the next step of their retirement phase, if you will. So why do we think that things will change as we look at 10-year treasury rates, which is certainly something that's used and helps drive the design of the product from the insurance company? 20 years ago, we were setting it around 671. 10 years ago, 511. And as I mentioned, 178 as of April 1st. And I think it's right around that same time or same number as we said here today. So we feel like if numbers switch, if we get to that 5, which is highly unlikely anytime in the near future, but if we even get to the 2.5 to 3 range, as a carrier, we're going to see them have the ability to redesign products, restructure products, and really put your client into something that's going to maximize the amount of income that they can have throughout their retirement phase. So again, for those clients who don't necessarily know when they need to take income, the solution that we have is the Power Select Builder for safe accumulation. The reason we've seen such a big drive into this specific product is because of the new MLSB strategy. I call it new. We launched it in December of 2014. So it's been around for roughly 17 months. But just want to briefly talk to you about our volatility controlled strategy and why we think it's one of the more competitive ones out there and why it makes sense. Again, one of the things that I mentioned earlier is the idea behind volatility controlled strategies is to provide stable returns using a rule-based approach to blend equities and fixed income assets. So when it says rule-based, it means that there's a rule created from Merrill Lynch, who has partnered with AIG in order to come up with this specific proprietary crediting strategy that says, if this happens, we do this. So it's not somebody sitting behind a desk or behind a computer making a decision based on what their thought process is. It's rules-based based on volatility as well as current interest rates. It's a blend of 2 indices, the S&P 500, as we mentioned, one of the most common and well-known indices in the world, as well as the Merrill Lynch 10-year Treasury Futures Total Return. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm going to take it back a step here, Scott, but when we talk about the Merrill Lynch 10-year Treasury Futures, what's unique about that and why we like this design is I showed you guys the 10-year Treasury rate setting at around 178. That's where we set today. Why we think ours is different is because of the Treasury futures. They're actually buying 3-month near maturity futures on the Treasury, simply meaning that if we think that the 10-year Treasury rate is at 178 today going to be higher over the next 10 years of the contract, we have the ability to take advantage of that increase in the Treasury. So it's huge, it's unique, it's different. Generally speaking, when you purchase a contract today, you lock in at current interest rates. With this specific design, we have the ability to take advantage of a rise in interest rates, which is very unique and very different. Three key features, as I mentioned, it's rule-based, it's controlled through volatility, and as well as the dynamic allocations. So as you can see, we're just stacking it up against the S&P 500 from 1994 to 2013. You can see that the orange is the MLSB, and it's designed to be consistent throughout the term of the contract. As you can see there, it's fairly consistent over a 20-year time frame, and quite honestly put out some pretty impressive numbers when you think about it and take a look at that. So again, combining rules-based indices, volatility control, and dynamic allocation to help provide stable performances. So there's three different pieces to the MLSB strategy. There's the equity piece in the S&P 500, there's the fixed income asset class in the Merrill Lynch Treasury futures, and then it's controlled from volatility in and out of cash on a daily basis. So again, what we're trying to accomplish with this is a consistent return throughout the term of the retirement. So a lot of success around this strategy. It's very simple. I know other strategies out there have been very competitive, very good as well. You know, I looked this morning, year to date, I have it pulled up on my other screen, so give me a second. 4.72% year to date is what this strategy is up. So again, trying to be consistent throughout the term of the retirement is exactly what we're trying to accomplish with this specific strategy. We've had a tremendous amount of success with that. Okay, now what we want to do is move into the Power Select Plus Income, which is our income rider product, if you will. Some more statistics: retirees and pre-retirees who prioritize guaranteed lifetime income believe that guaranteed income for life does provide peace of mind. So we know when we go back to the very first slide that I put up there, we feel as if the products are bought in three different ways, whether it's guaranteed income, performance-based income, or accumulation opportunities. In today's current interest rate environment, we've seen more of the safe accumulation type of planning, so to speak, because we don't know when those clients are ready to take income. But if they do know, we've got some extremely competitive products from that standpoint as well. So half of the U.S. households with assets of at least $100,000 are interested in converting those assets into guaranteed income for life, and we know that we can help them with the products that we have available. So first, what we want to do is talk about the Lifetime Income Plus. The Lifetime Income Plus is kind of our bread and butter, for lack of a better term. This is the product that we originally started Market Synergy Group with back in January of 2014, and we've seen a tremendous amount of success with this due to its design, giving the client the ability to see a rise in income throughout their retirement. So essentially how the income rider works is it's 6.5% simple interest for the first 10 years of the contract. In addition to that, we have a doubling feature, which I'll talk about here in a second. Okay, so what's unique and different about the Lifetime Income Plus income rider is the Keep the Difference feature or the Guaranteed Rising Income. So the example that I have up here for you now is a 65-year-old taking income. At age 65, our payout factors or maximum annual withdrawal percentage, if you will, is 5%. As I mentioned on the previous slide, we've guaranteed them 6.5% for 10 years. So for example, if a client is 65 and ready to take income now, we know that their maximum annual withdrawal percentage is 5%, but we've promised them 6.5% for the 10-year time frame. Generally speaking, in our industry, once you turn on income, game over. You've got a number, and that number is guaranteed for you for life. With our design, in this specific situation, since we took 5, but we've promised 6.5, we get to keep that 1.5% difference to credit it to their account and give them the ability to see a rise in income over the next 10 years of that contract. I mentioned earlier the doubling feature. This has been very beneficial for those who do laddering planning. One of the things that we have as far as a feature on this guaranteed income rider product is the ability to double your initial premium plus your bonus if you stay in the contract for the full 10-year term of the contract. So second, third leg of the laddering plan, however you want to look at it, your $100,000 becomes $210,000 after a 10-year time frame. Then we turn it on and give them a guaranteed income for life. Now, the caveat to this is you don't have the ability to take any free withdrawals, RMDs. Any time that you take a withdrawal out of this, that will negate the 10-year doubling feature. But it is a unique feature if we have separate buckets of money that you're looking to do income planning for your clients on. So it's something that you could look at is in regards to having somebody at Insurance Agency Marketing run you an illustration to see how we stack up. In addition to that, when we designed the product, we knew it was extremely important to be competitive at age 65, however, still have the ability to have payouts at those younger ages. So you'll see at age 65, our payout factors are 5%. We've also noticed, throughout the 15 years that we've been doing this, that there's a major need for joint payout. So there's simply a 50 basis point reduction for joint payout, which can also be applied to qualified accounts. So just a quick profile on our guaranteed income product. Jane 60 wants to retire at age 65, increase your retirement potential, and help supplement Social Security to get her to that full retirement age of 66, and selects the Lifetime Income Plus income rider. So how does it work? As I mentioned, 6.5% simple interest guaranteed for the first 5 years. At age 66, she turns on her income rider. At age 65, she turns on her income rider, which at age 65 has a maximum withdrawal percentage of 5, like we showed in the previous slides. Therefore, she gets a 1.5% credit for the next 5 years. So what does that look like? Jane is guaranteed to grow that number to $7,350 per year for life because she has a 5-year increase over that time frame. Now, where we are most competitive, and Scott will tell you the same thing, is the real early income, and that's by design. So that's, as early as 0 years, you have the ability to turn on income within 30 days. Up to 3 or 4 or even 5 in a lot of situations, we're extremely competitive with an A+ rated carrier. Once we get to the 7, 8, 9, there's better products out there, I'll be completely honest with you. But again, that's part of our design. We feel the client doesn't necessarily know that they need to take income, or they're willing to look 7, 8, 9, 10 years out, that it makes more sense to put them into some sort of a safe accumulation product and utilize the free withdrawals if the need for money comes up, which we happen to have 10% free withdrawals starting in year 2 in most states. So again, a different design, a different strategy on how we design these products is very simple. Early income for guarantees, we're extremely competitive, one of the top 2 or 3 in the industry. And then once we get to that 10th year with the doubling feature, we're great as well. However, if they're looking beyond that or in the 7, 8, 9 year time frame, we feel as if it makes more sense to utilize a accumulation type of a product that isn't getting that value eroded from an income rider fee, reposition them, keep them as a client for life, give them the ability to go into something that's more competitive down the road if and when we see a rise in interest rates. Okay, so in addition to that, we recently, December of 2015, launched our performance-based income rider, the Lifetime Income Plus Multiplier. Again, we knew that there was a need for some performance-based income riders because that's kind of the direction that our industry is going. So we wanted to compete on all aspects of the sales approach for the indexed annuity product line. So how does this one work and how is it different? It's very similar to the Lifetime Income Plus, where with the Lifetime Income Plus, we guarantee 6.5% simple, and you have keep the difference. With the Lifetime Income Plus Multiplier, it's simply performance-based. So just to briefly talk to you about how it works, during the deferral stage, they get a 250% multiplier or 2.5 times whatever their credited interest rate would be applied to their income base. Once we start taking income out, we go to the adjusted multiplier. We get that credit times 1.5 or 150% minus the withdrawals to give them the ability to see growth throughout the retirement term. We like to call it equity inflation here in our office. So ultimately what we were trying to accomplish with this design is how can we stay competitive from a performance-based income standpoint, but still have the ability to see that lifetime income grow throughout the term of the retirement. Generally speaking, when we look at performance-based income riders, more and more are starting to have the ability to grow throughout the income phase. But generally speaking, once you turn on income, game over. You've got a number, that number stays the same for life, and you don't have the ability to take advantage of these incredible designs and these volatility-controlled strategies because it's not working for you anymore. We wanted to change that, so that's exactly what we've done with this specific product and income rider. So again, going back to what I said during the deferral stage with 2.5 times credit, if you take a modest return of 4% and during the deferral stage get the 2.5% multiplier, or excuse me, 250% multiplier, simple math tells us that 4 times 2.5 is 10%. For that specific year with a 4% return on your crediting strategy, you would get a 10% simple interest income credit to your income base. Pretty unique, pretty different. So as you can imagine, if we have some home run years, those numbers become larger and larger, and from a from a performance standpoint, it's a very unique design and very different than anything else that's out there. So bumping it up during the payout phase. So if we've already started taking income at age 65 and we get a 6% return, we simply take that number again times the 1.5 or the 150 to get 9. Okay, well, we used 5 at age 65. Remember, we talked about how our maximum annual withdrawal percentage at age 65 was 5. So therefore, we get a 4% credit to the income base to see a guaranteed rise in the income again. So let's just go through another quick example and a client profile on Gary. Gary's 55, wants to retire in 10 years, wants to protect his retirement income. Again, get to that magic age of 66, if you will, for Social Security planning and get you to the full retirement age and the lifetime income multiplier. So again, as we look down here, we see a 3% return, which is a pretty modest common return, if you will, on an indexed annuity. Well, a 3% return would actually give him a 7.5% credit to his income base. You know, a 0 is obviously a 0, a 4 gives him 10, a 1, 2.5, so on and so forth. We have a really good year for an indexed annuity and get 6. During the deferral stage, that's a 15% credit to the income base. Once Gary starts taking income, you can see that we go to the adjusted multiplier minus withdrawals. So here's a 3% and an 8, which would give him 8 times the 1.5 is 12, right? So he used 5, so he still gets a 7% credit to his account, so on and so forth. So as we look at this, at age 65, Gary starts at $8,794, which is very competitive in our industry today. Ultimately, by age 75, he's grown that number almost $1,100 more than what he originally started at. So again, a very unique feature from a performance-based income rider standpoint that gives us the ability to start high and finish higher. Generally speaking, if we have these increasing income options on our products that are available today, you have to start a little bit lower in order to get that number and then hope the performance kicks in during that income phase. So we knew it was important to start at the same number that we could, or what we should, and we have not actually decreased our maximum annual withdrawal percentages on this specific rider. So as you can see, again at age 65, where we knew we had to be most competitive, 5% with a simple 50 basis point reduction for those joint payouts. So just to briefly summarize the difference between the two income riders, and then Scott will open it up for questions. Guaranteed income for life, once elected with both specific products. The Lifetime Income Plus gives you a guaranteed income credit, whereas the multiplier is performance-based. The doubling feature only applies to the guaranteed income product. The income credit period, or the 6.5% simple on the Lifetime Income Plus, is for 10 years. For our multiplier, it's to age 95, or whenever the contract value equals 0. So we have the ability to see a rise in that income up to age 95 or until the contract value equals 0. And when I say that, I'm talking about the 250% during the deferral stage and the 150 during the payout stage. So that's just a quick summary. A few additional product details, Scotty, and we'll open it up for questions. Beneficiary protection, I mentioned free withdrawals of 10%, access to money, terminal illness, extended care activities of daily living. Unfortunately, if any of your clients run into these life-changing events, you have the ability to take the full accumulation value out in a lump sum. Withdrawal charges, this is a true 10-10 product, and we're in 49 states and have products available in all of them, 109876 on down the line. The idea behind that design is to be more client-centric and not hit them with the surrender charge that's substantially higher than that locks them in and doesn't give them the ability to get out if they choose to change. Minimum premium is $25,000 up to as much as $1 million without home office approval. The accumulation product in the builder is age 0 to 78, and then our income rider product rides from ages 50 to 78. So with that said, Scotty, I think I've wrapped it up, and I'd be happy to sit around and answer any questions that we may have. The one thing I'll add is we feel like with an A-plus rated carrier and AIG American General, and the story that we have available with both the performance-based as well as the guaranteed income rider, in addition to the accumulation opportunity and the ability for those clients to kind of wait and see when they're ready to turn on income, is a great story to tell. I would ask that you call somebody at the IAMS office and have them run you an illustration and speak to you more in detail about how the crediting strategies work and the great design behind these products.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you, Jared. Need to see it. Need to see it illustrated to truly understand how powerful it is and how it does stack up with the competition. Before we get into questions for Jared, I'm going to launch our final poll of the day asking if you'd like contracting information about these products from AIG American General. If you would, please click yes. We will get them emailed out to you. We do certainly appreciate everyone's participation in that. Also, as we're going through, if you do have any questions, please feel free to type them in. We will do the best we can to get them answered here. Jared, do clients have to decide if they want single or joint payout upon election of income or at time of application?
It's actually something that has to be decided at time of application or at time of issue.
Okay.
Part of the hedging of the income rider, which kind of makes it to where we need to know.
Sure.
For lack of a better term.
It, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we like the most about working with AIG American General is their transparency as a company. And they'll tell you, that's the reason why their income is so competitive. This is one of the caveats. They've got to know what they're going to do. So it's very refreshing to have a company that's that transparent and will tell you the whys when they make decisions like that. Jared, what is the death benefit based on?
Accumulation value.
Okay. And then follow up on that for the income rider, the lifetime income. Where are the fees coming out of? Are they subtracted from the accumulated value or from the income account value?
They come out of the accumulation value as well, based on the income base.
Fantastic.
Like most of the products, there's some out there that do it a little bit differently, but the majority of them base it off the income base and reduce it from the accumulation value. The income rider fee is also 1.1%. I don't know that we covered that.
Okay. I have a question that came in about commissions, and I will defer that specific question. It's age specific. I will defer that to our follow-up because it varies from time to time and what the options are. So I will answer that on a one-on-one basis. Jared, did we cover the general commission structure on the product?
We did not.
Okay.
We did not.
Can I give you a little platform to talk about how awesome it is?
Yes, I was going to make him call in to talk to you about it, but yeah, we'll discuss it real quickly. Street level commission on the product up to age 75, if you take the upfront option, is 7%. We also have a trail option of $225 with 1% for the life of the contract, which is extremely competitive. But I think what Scott was referring to, we're running a tiered commission bonus program to you, the agent, giving you the ability to earn as much as 8.5% based on production. So as I mentioned, 7% is the street level commission. At $1 million in production, you receive an additional 50 basis points retroed back to $1. At $2.5 million, you receive a full point, again, retroed back to $1. And then at $5 million, you receive 1.5 retroed back to $1. And that applies to both the upfront option as well as the trail. So if you do trail commissions, that's something that you like or that you see maybe we're going to in the future, you have the ability to earn as much as $375 in year one with a 1% trail for the life of the contract, which is extremely, extremely competitive.
It is very competitive. That tiered commission bonus, you will find that it makes the commission on these 10-year products some of the most lucrative commissions in the industry today. So not only are you selling your clients a great product, it's going to take care of your bottom line very, very well. That being said, Jared, we are out of questions. So before we sign off, I do just want to remind everyone, if you haven't taken the time to click yes or no on the polling question, if you would please do so. We certainly appreciate that. Jared, I do want to thank you for your time. I know 45 minutes out of your day is a lot, as busy as you guys are down there. So we do appreciate you joining us for this. Any parting words for the group?
No, again, I'll just echo what you were saying, Scott, and say thank you to all those who took the time to get on here. We truly do appreciate it. We feel like we've got an extremely competitive product with an A-plus rated carrier. You know, our industry is in a little bit of a questioning time, if you will, right now. And the thing that I like to always point out is that we've been competitive and will stay competitive. lucky enough to have a relationship with the largest insurance company in the world that wants to be in this business. And every once in a while there's products out there that seem like they're too good to be true, and certainly others are going after aggressive pricing, which I totally understand and totally get. We're a company that wants to be in it for the long haul, so we would appreciate you taking a look at what we have to offer with such a highly rated large insurance company, and hope that you know that we're going to be there for the next 30 or 40 years in order to make sure we take care of those claims and those payments for the lifetime income. So appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. I will echo what Jared said. As I sign off, I do want to thank you all very, very much for your time. I know 45 minutes out of your day in the field is a lot to ask, and we do really want to thank you for joining us for this. With that being said, we will be calling to follow up, so any questions, please feel free to ask me when I do follow up. And other than that, go out and have a great sales day, everyone. We do appreciate you very, very much.